If does anybody need anything before we get started?
Don't think so.
I think I'm good here.
No, I think I'm good.
Stop Googling old-timey words, but other
There
than
you go.
that.
All right. Well, we don't need to do a huge recap. Let's see where we left off. Was you had essentially met with all of the non-hyper militaristic factions in hopes of securing some forces with some chess games, and some general role-playing and convincingness. You managed to secure some forces from, or at least some resources from the Harpers, from the Emerald Enclave, and from the Zentarum. The Zentarum essentially want a cut of the treasure you come across. But the more militaristic of the factions are the ones you haven't met with as of yet. You had met with 3. You had essentially taken a long rest towards the end of last game, just as the day had been used up. And there was a feast approaching by King Bruenor, either tonight or at the end of the day today, tonight, or tomorrow, depending on how your things went. He could basically put it at any point you want. So, with that, we're going to resume. But I want to test one quick thing. Let's see. Can you hear this? It's an oracle.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All right. I never know if it's playing through, because if you can't hear it, it still plays in my speakers. So I can hear it 100% of the time. So I have to ask you if you can hear it. All right. So with that, we're going to pick up with you guys still in Gauntlgyrm, having had a long rest, and you're able to go and get food. You are pretty welcome here. You're essentially being treated as dignitaries, so anything you want or need, your armor can be, and weapons can be tended to and cared for and repaired, or anything you need. You currently have some larger issues you're working on, but before departing, if you wanted to look at selling, buying, you can definitely do that. But with that, I will let you guys decide where you want to head next.
Let me get my notes.
Well, we still have to talk with the Order of the Gauntlet and the Lord's Alliance, and I must say I am looking forward to neither of them.
Let's
Agreed. Not a
So-
fucking...
just flip a coin to see. Well, we don't have to talk to them.
We
But-
probably should.
Yes. Should do our due diligence. Should we just flip a coin or...
Well, I have the Order of the Gauntlet first in my notes, so let's hit them.
Okay.
Fair enough for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
You're
So-
keeping a journal, Nix.
I always keep a journal.
Okay.
What, you think I can remember everything? No. Have you
Gotta-
spoken to me?
Got to refer back to that when he writes the songs.
Exactly.
Right. So after waking up, eating breakfast, going on about your happy, merry way, you start moving in the direction of the Order of the Gauntlet. So what you guys have essentially been able to gather a little bit, the majority of the first 3 you pretty much knew a little bit about. After spending a little time and moving around through this town, city, the Order of the Gauntlet, you've picked up a little information. They're essentially a religious organization. They are a goodly, aligned, holy-minded, crusader-driven organization. They primarily, essentially, yes, in spirit, but not in
actual
practice.
class
So that,
race. Yeah.
though there are some paladins, they tend to center their actions around what's called the Triad, which is some of the a trio of gods: Tyr, Torm, and Ilmater. The gods are goodly gods that essentially oppose the evilness of the world. So they essentially focus on rooting out evil, seek to uphold justice, and all of those goodly paladinly things. The Order of the Gauntlet does have a reputation in the Underdark, as essentially it has been a proving ground for some of their members as they escalate in the order. So veterans will be not necessarily sent in, but essentially sent in to crusade and smite evil as threats arise. So for that reason, they are not necessarily just random surface dwellers who have never been to the Underdark. Many of them essentially got their teeth cut in battle in one way or another in the Underdark. So when you're dealing with this, you're dealing with clerics and paladins, some wizards, but essentially they are goodly aligned, militaristic, very aggressive towards fighting evil. So take that for what it will. Now, as you approach them, you would anticipate their area. They have a series of rooms, and again, we're not going to be pulling up the map, but I did. The map is up. I'll go ahead and pull it up for you guys. If you want to look at it and move around, you're more than welcome to. It's just a really nice map. They have their banner hung on the door. There are some guards. They see you coming pretty easily, and as you approach, you are called out to halt and announce yourself and intention.
Oh, yes. My name is Adarix Nix, and this is the Order of the Dawn. We are here to seek audience with Sir Lanavar Strail in regards to a alliance between the various factions that have shown up today, this week. Yes.
So they leave you standing at the door. One of them steps inside a room and returns relatively shortly. And as you guys are waiting, you notice that the guards are they're very clearly not what you would see like in a town of constable guards who are wearing leather. They're not really, drafted peasants. These are apparently battle hardened warriors. They seem to have comfortable bearing when they wear their armor. They are wearing very nice equipment, full plate mail.
That is very nice.
In various pieces. The majority of their armor is splint, but there are plate pieces. They are carrying long swords and short swords and heavy crossbows. They are very clearly equipped to do battle. And so it's something you do notice that their soldiers are not for show.
Hey, just out of curiosity, did it show me as disconnected or anything?
It did not.
Okay, the only reason I asked is because Fantasy Grounds is kind of hanging on my end. It's not responding.
Yeah, I had that for a little bit too. I clicked and it went away. But I thought it was going to crash for a second there.
Oh, there we go. Here it is.
Phew.
So a short moment later, the guard returns and ushers you into a very comfortable looking room. It is a little more comfortable than you would imagine from a military commander, but it is nice. There is a small altar, seems to have some type of deification, god, but the man who is waiting for you is very clearly the commander. He has a full suit of steel plate mail armor on a armor stand with his weaponry set off to the side. He has a great sword that's set fairly close. So much like the guards, he is someone who seems to have seen battle. And when you make your way in a very formalistic, he welcomes you and introduces himself. I am Sir Laniver Strahl, commander of the contingent of the Order of the Gauntlet. Here guide you, and the Order of the Dawn is welcome. How is it that I can help you?
Well, we were hoping to discuss, what manner of aid you could provide to a potential coalition to rid the material plane of demonic incursion before it becomes less contained in the Underdark.
He kind of listens to you politely before saying it. I had wondered if we would be able to put together any meaningful response. The Zentarum are primarily self-interested, but even they cannot fall into a trap of thinking that the demon lords are in their interest. I came here with the intention of leading it myself if the need requires it. I am interested in supporting this cause. You are putting together this alliance. Are you intending to lead it as commanders?
Oh boy.
That's the plan.
He kind of
Right.
lets her speak, and he looks around and he says, "It looks like you are of a varied background and skill set. It is not anything specific that you are lacking, which means you have survived in the Underdark through cunning and skill. You very likely will be able commanders. I presume you have lured some Zentarum who have the courage enough to go down with you, but you should be careful with the resources that many of the other factions bring may not be accustomed to the dangers of the Underdark."
Well, I don't think that's going to be much problem since not very many are going to be coming with us. And those who will know that they're likely going to die. So,
Except for your brave soldiers, of course.
yes, no, yeah.
If they
They're
come with us.
much better trained than the other factions. So, I expect more from them, only to be injured at most.
He nods his head before saying, "The danger of the Underdark is not unfamiliar to us. Is there any plan you have to carry out that you are looking to bring into fruition?"
Yes,
Take the
an
head off of
associate.
Zuckmoy.
What?
Take the head off of fucking Zuckmoy.
Yes, that would be the ideal end goal. But we have an associate as well, currently performing research in the background and attempting to formulate some sort of more coherent scheme, as it were. Let me try and think of the words here. Hang on. Nyx knows what to say, but Malachi doesn't.
Are you trying to think of his name?
No, I know what his name. I'm trying to not say his name at all, actually. I'm only referring to him as our friend somewhere else. It's working.
A benefactor, if you will.
Yes, specifically not mentioning this person as much as possible.
Fair enough. You can go ahead and make your persuasion check, but you can make it with advantage. You can tell he is looking to put together a force and send a force into the Underdark.
Yeah. I must say, your willingness and excitement for this demonic business to be over at the tip of a blade is most refreshing compared to the others that we've just chatted with so far. Oh no! I dropped a 1. Thank God for advantage.
Thank the heavens.
He says, I have brought with me some of the more battle-hardened troops that I have, all experienced in the Underdark, having traveled before. I am willing to send 5 of my most experienced veterans with you, and I am also able to provide reinforcements should you establish footholds so that you may have areas to retreat to. It will take some time for me to get them put together, but it will not be too long. My veterans are experienced both troop commanders, battlefield commanders, and combatants. I will provide enough food, supplies, and required sundries for all troops that you put together in your expeditionary force.
Whew.
That is fucking excellent. Thank you very much.
Yes,
How
that
do
is
you-
a great help. Thank you.
How do you say his last name again? Is it Strail or Strahl?
Either one.
Okay,
It's subjective pronunciation.
I see. Yes, this is most beneficial, Sir Strahl. We thank you for your support.
You will be the ones leading a force into the Underdark against the Demon Lords. I envy you, but I will do my best to ensure you are not left unsupported.
No, it's true and heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I haven't heard anything.
Just
I mean, shut the fuck up.
Frankly, how dare you eat?
I don't know where my mic is, but I'm trying to chew at
Where are your ears?
it. Where's... Alright.
Well, that was actually very successful.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of the reinforcements, that's going to be probably the biggest thing, is just that we have a place to go that is somewhat safe at
Yep.
some point.
I was half expecting us to have to show some strength or something. Show a feat of strength.
I was ready.
Yeah, I was ready to not really do so much do in regards to strength, but like a skill of athleticism or acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit is capering in the background while Dronga is juggling 2 guards.
I mean, if nothing
This
else,
is easy.
if nothing else, I was gonna, tell Lord Stroll my tale of woe and misery. They've got my family. Please help me.
You don't like the Zentarum. Well, neither do I. All right.
Alright.
I think
There
we
go.
get him
For you to kill.
4 from 4 so far. That's pretty good.
bid him a fond farewell, and hope to see him on the battlefield someday.
Yeah, and he pretty much almost immediately starts to call his squire over and start making arrangements for supplies and things of that nature. Seems to, even though he seems a battlefield commander, or at least to have been, he seems to have taken to logistics quite well.
The desk job in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Lord's Alliance, the one that I wanted to do the least. We get to deal with an asshole noble elf. Who else is excited for that?
So
Super
fucking.
How do you say that name again? Aravian Hound? Hound?
Pond.
Hond?
Arovian.
Arovian.
Aravian.
All right. You head over to the Lord's Alliance area, and as you would have guessed, their rooms are open. They don't seem to have extremely strict, though there are guards. One of the things that does throw you off a little bit is the guards outside the area are dwarven, but they're not wearing the symbol of Gauntlgyrm. They are wearing this symbol. And when you make your way over, they almost immediately usher you in without any question. They seem to be anticipating your arrival. And when you arrive, they usher you in to a room that is posh and very bedecked in carpets that very clearly weren't here. They were brought with them. There is a moon elf. I'm sorry, half elf, but he's of moon elf heritage. He is wearing silks and he is carrying a rapier, and he doesn't seem to be an extremely experienced combatant. You can tell that pretty clearly. He is much more interested in looking the part. And when you come in, he introduces himself, Lord Erovian Hound, noble of the Lord's Alliance. He welcomes you and says, "Please have a seat."
Thank you for your hospitality, my lord.
A number of servants make their way around, bringing you wine without asking if you want it. And go ahead.
No, I'll take a glass.
So they
Sean's
bring
like,
you.
hey, keep those coming.
Yeah.
They bring you the alcohol. One of the things you did learn as you made your way in and around Gauntlgyrm is that the Lord's Alliance, though semi-militaristic, they do have a substantial military might, but they are primarily an economic and political alliance, the Lord's Alliance, that is. They are essentially the Sword Coast and the North, designed to essentially grow civilization through thriving economies, diplomacy, things like that. They're very cooperative. They don't have their own necessary standing military the way that the Order of the Gauntlet does, but more a series of cities that have their own military that will come together, much in like the way militias would form and then join together. But they are actual city militaries rather than militias. So when you kind of gathered that, Lord Aravian welcomes you guys and asks for wine once he gets settled. He kind of looks around and settles on Nyx as the speaker of the group and says, "The Order of the Dawn is what you are going by? That is your group, is that correct?"
Yes,
Yep.
that is quite correct.
That's us.
And what is it that your group is made up of? I have heard many things, but I am curious. Who are you? What is it that brings you together? What is your story?
Next, you won't take that one.
All right, yes, well, I will do what I can. You see, I myself am a relatively recent addition to the fine company of adventuring heroes, but I have heard of their exploits, as I'm sure you have as well. Hunted by the drow, fleeing from capture, coming from many different walks of life, as you can see. They've managed to, and well, now me, have managed to rise up from common slaves and prisoners to, well, hopefully the heroes that will lead a great army to rid the demons from this fine plane of ours. Yes. Did I do okay? I hope so.
Fucking excellent.
A very noble goal, and one befitting of slaves. The Drow are well-known slavers. I myself have had some operatives interacting with the Drow more than they care to. The nature of it is that we must be vigilant. Strong economic might is not the only thing that matters. I am curious, Lady Dwergar, what is it that inspired you to be traveling with such an unlikely motley crew?
Well, wouldn't you fucking know it? They fucked something up in my city, and I was on the run anyway, so bumped into each other, and I'm just kind of here. Kind of actually grown to like them. Well, I'm also kind of looking for a friend, but I think that time has passed at this point, so I mean, I'm kind of getting off track here, but there's a lot of other reasons. There was some fucked up stuff happening out in Gracklestug. Grackle. I don't remember where I was from for a second.
Wait, which one of the G locations am I coming?
Right? Out of 18. I think I got the right one, though. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening in Gracklestug that I just could not understand why it was happening. So I left and kind of became a, what's the word I'm looking for? And I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to understand. Tyler knows the word. Dronga does not.
You notice he just patiently listens and shows and is not like hurrying Dronga to find the right word that she wants.
No, it's not going to me.
No worries. A good group can make a time on the run seem like a safe journey. And I'm glad you found each other. And the group themselves seem very unusual. A tabaxi from, based on the coloring, I believe that would be Maztika.
Spirit gives a nod. And she says, I was actually with my husband and son. We were looking in regards to a legend of a dagger of renown. I believe it was called Tinderstrike, if memory serves. We were up on the surface. We were going to be meeting with the mentor of mine, and we were going to be investigating it together. The day before we were supposed to depart to meet him, the Drow raided the city we were in. My family and I were separated in the confusion, and when the dust settled, I had heard that my husband and son were taken captive. I gave chase to try to rescue them, and was quickly apprehended myself. I managed to escape and join up with my friends here. We did discover where they are being kept. We do know that they are under thrall of a beholder, but at our current level of strength, we have no chance of actually fighting it to rescue my loved ones.
I have little doubt, noble Tabaxi, that you will be reunited with your family, especially with stout companions such as these. A furbolg, hailing from a forest some far and distant place, your people rarely depart their sacred and serene groves.
Yes, no, it was... What? Oh, shit, here we go again. This is like the 500th time that everyone's heard Roland's extensive backstory.
There's a reason why I put that out of character, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll go through his life of how he kind of was the reason that his family was, or his people were, what's the word? Evicted, I guess, from their homeland.
Cast into exile.
Yeah. And then he himself was cast into an exile and has been traveling the lands for the last 200 some odd years.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. He'll go into a lot more detail, but I'm not going to.
The half elf nods as you tell your story, and he says, "Well, I appreciate the background. I was greatly curious on who was made up and making up this organization. I had heard was putting together an expeditionary force. I would."
Berserker! I got it.
I missed that part.
Ah! Stronga just shouted, Deserter!
I am impressed. I will not deny. The Lord's Alliance has certainly material and things to contribute. I understand you are looking to head into the Underdark and working with others, as I've heard, doing some of the planning, and to repel the Demon Lord threat. What is it specifically you ask?
Let's see. Well, of course, any martial aid that you could supply would be most welcome. As well, additional supplies or logistics for the growing force that we have at our disposal to help keep the troops in good health and good supply.
All right, go ahead and make your persuasion check or intimidation if Dronga's doing it, and you can do it at advantage.
Woo! All right, let's see. Don't fuck up the last one.
Mom.
That's pretty good.
No way.
He seemed to start with interest in your endeavor, and he says, "I am able to contribute half of the guard I brought with me.
Oh, wow.
I will send 5 Mirabaran soldiers. They are capable dwarves from the city of Mirabar. They are skilled, well equipped, and effective at holding the line and protecting you so rest can be sought. I will also contribute a group of spies, as it were. I will send with you 3 spies from the city of Yartar, a den of thieves, no doubt, but that does breed skills that are useful in some areas. They will be of some service. I don't doubt you will find a way to use them. Along with these 8 soldiers, I can provide logistics and support for any outposts and supplies you establish.
That is splendid and most helpful. Thank you so much, my lord.
Yes. It'll be greatly needed, thank you.
I thank you for being willing to lead such a dangerous endeavor, but I do have a small request.
Ask it.
Okay.
The Lord's Alliance has a deep cover operative. I have not heard from her recently. She may be slightly hard to recognize. She is a high elf named Kalesa Draga. She is an operative from Silvery Moon. We sent her as a spy to infiltrate Menzo Baranzan. I know she has been using her magic as disguise. I request that you do not leap too quickly to attack any drow that you do encounter until you can confirm that it is not a disguised operative of ours. We have lost contact with her, as I said, but if you are able to make contact with her, we would be grateful for updates to her current situation.
That we can absolutely do, sir.
Not that I would recommend traveling to Menzo Baranzan, but if you find yourselves interacting with drow, information would be appreciated.
Yeah, don't think we want to go back there exactly, but we'll do our best to find your Khaleesi.
God damn it.
With that, I will allow you to make your preparations.
Yes. And we will leave you as well, sir. Thank you for your audience.
He gives you a respectful bow. And as you guys head out, he seems to be handling some of the arrangements to send his troops with you.
Nice. All right.
So with all 5 meetings concluded, what does that put you guys at?
All right, here's what we got so far. We got 1 robot, a magical map, 3 scouts and 8 sticky lizards, 3 spies, 5 dwarven soldiers, 5 veteran knights, and 8 Zentarum mercenaries, as
So-
well as various logistical support from many of the factions.
Is that 24?
Probably. I didn't count.
Not
I don't know how
counting
to count.
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes, indeed.
So roughly a small expeditionary force. Obviously, an entire army marching through the Underdark is probably going to attract some attention of bigger military forces you don't want. All right, that will be what is essentially the military force you have put together. Not bad, not bad. And we will go over how that's going to actually play out. I have a couple options for how you guys want to play it in terms of options. But with that covered, you don't necessarily have anything major that you need to do before the feast. Having spent the last day and a half in Gauntlgyrm, you can spend some more time if you guys want to look at having any of your armor sold, anything, if you have anything, not that you have to. If you want to purchase anything, now would be your opportunity to think about it. You don't have to necessarily tell me right now, but the feast will be when we are going to fast forward to when you guys are all ready. It can be now, or you guys can wait and go over selling. I don't know what you guys got, to be honest.
Not too much anymore, apparently, unless it's in someone's pockets.
You guys sold quite a bit in Menzo Baranzan.
Yeah, I don't really have anything that I need to sell, or I don't really have enough money to buy anything either.
You guys
To
haven't
be able
had a
to revive.
considerable battle time since Menzo Baranzan either to steal
Mhm.
things from people.
Nope.
It's enlightened. It's enlightened item repossession. I mean,
Right.
the dead aren't using them.
Reallocation of resources.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So, is there anything you guys want to do before we move to the feast, or are you guys?
Mm,
Not that you're required to.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, me
We've
neither.
kind of visited the points that we were told that Helgrim said were kind of interesting. I think yes, just the chapel in the library. Okay.
Of the options there are, let's see. I will show you this before I. You're not gonna have. Is that not opening? I lagged it. So I will. I'm going to uncover the entire map so you guys can take a look at it. If you don't have it up, I'm bringing it up. There's some spots that you won't obviously have reason to see, so you wouldn't see it. Let's see. Lighting. Let me leave lighting on. And line of sight. That should uncover everything for you. Hopefully. Yes? No?
Give it a second. It is processing for me.
Yeah,
yeah,
here.
I'm frozen.
So that should uncover the whole map. Is that uncovered?
It is currently it's currently loading.
Yeah, it's not responding for me.
That's okay.
It'll take a sec. That's all.
Yeah.
And if it does, that is no biggie because I'm going to send a screenshot in Discord of the map so that you can take a look because it is worth your time. There you go.
Ooh.
Some areas that you don't have a major reason to see. I'll go ahead and reinstate this line of sight just to make it easier. Don't overload anything.
Oh wow.
Well,
Got
that's cool
very
as
big
hell.
Eye of Sauron vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very nice map though.
They did a fantastic job. Let's see. I am putting your tokens on aforementioned map right here. I think that syncs it up with you. That should be. Who am I missing? Missing one. Indomitable. Dronga is the one. Nope, Dronga's on there. Got rolling. Hey. There we go. Got all 6 of you on here. You guys hopefully are in the right spot.
Seem to be again. Yeah.
Let me get everybody put on the map here as we.
Is anybody else still frozen in Instagram?
It just unfroze for me.
Yeah, just unfroze for me. Yep.
Yeah, same.
I believe in you.
Oh, why would I do that?
To make these NPCs non-hostile. You guys can take whatever chairs you want. You are not required to take a seat where I stuck you. You can
In
move,
that case.
you know, live the best life you think you can live.
For however long or likely short it may be.
I didn't say it, I just implied it.
No, I picked up on it.
Right. Give me just a second. Because I didn't get this, guys.
Damn, Arista looks cool as hell.
Give me 2 seconds. I feel like I may have missed a token on my prep work, which we will just keep on rolling.
Rolling.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no Harper on there.
Well, I have the Harper. I just am pulling up his token real quick.
He's just lost.
Oh no, he's here.
Gone, but not forgotten.
So what did you guys decide what you were going to do with the Shield Guardian? Are you guys just kind of, that's not what I want to do. I put 2 of them on there. Are you guys going to assign him to somebody?
It's probably a good idea.
Is someone going to, because whoever has the amulet is the one who controls him.
Right. Just want to see what it can do real quick. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's not what you'd call soft.
Damn, with Coast would have been a great candidate for this.
Yeah, I still think like anybody kind of in the back lines would be good.
Yeah, someone who...
How about I do this?
Spell storing is really good. They should be a caster then.
Spell storing is very...
You're breaking up, Tony.
Yeah.
That is understood because all 3 of my screens just flickered out.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Well, looks like, yeah, we had a power surge earlier. I might need to shut this down and bring it back up, but we were going to do a little more and then end at this natural point because the feast is going to be for next game. I allotted 2 games for all of your time spent role playing and selling if you chose to. Let me see. Fantasy Grounds. It is going to have to go down. Today is going to be a little bit of a shorter game. I wanted to keep it up and available. The last essentially hour. I didn't want Alex to miss a lot, so I kind of did a slight rejigger, but I wanted to kind of go over. I'm bringing that back up. Essentially, the forces, and before we go into the feast, I got it all set up. I'm bringing the server back up, but you don't necessarily need to bring it up if you're part up because some of the conversation, most of it's just conversation. But it is coming back up. So when Alex is back next game is when we're going to essentially do the feast and then move on to part 2. Part 2 is going to be traveling, which is the part I want to go over with you guys now that you know how much of an expeditionary force you have. So does anybody have any questions before we get into that? Like about the feast or any of your time, selling, buying, anything like that?
Oh yeah, if I can, I want to offload my crate sort of thing. I haven't used it in ages.
Is it magical?
I don't remember to look at it.
Okay, the server's coming up now.
Okay.
While that is coming up, I'm sending you guys a picture. I see Mal is typing.
Yeah, I'm just writing out the forces we have in here so that Alex can see it and we don't forget next time.
Good. It's good. All right, server's up. Looks like everyone's connecting, so there'll be some original. So, couple things. Essentially, you guys are going to be in charge of this expeditionary force. How you use it is completely up to you. I'm going to kind of explain your options, and they're going to be. I may spend some time over the next. I have a couple options I've been debating on expanding, so I may cover some new options next time. I'm going to let everybody get logged in. So you guys are heading to Araj, a point where Vizier Devere is apparently headquartered. So the travel's quite a ways. So when you travel, a couple things of note as everyone gets connected here. The tunnels with the Underdark can vary from big caverns, small tunnels. Essentially, you guys are not going to be typically as you the ones leading with an expeditionary force. It's really up to you. And what I mean by this is there are groups as they run through this game, parties that are essentially just don't want any other forces, so they don't put together a force. Having put together a force, some groups are just like, I don't want to be heavily involved with it, so let's just set up an outpost, which I'll cover in a minute, and they just leave them there. And there's other groups that want to have them kind of as a background feature, but not heavily in story. And then the other option is people that want to get all the way in depth on it. So I'm going to cover some of those, and then you guys can think it over. And then if you don't like it halfway through, you can change it. So the marching order isn't necessarily a huge deal. Your travel pace is not going to be any different. This may be a little bit. Dronga might have not experienced too much of this because you guys she came in a little bit late, but your travel pace options are going to be set when you head out, and you can change it slow, normal, or fast. And essentially, it's how many miles you want to cover per day, and it's the forces don't slow you down. So you can travel at slow, which is 4 miles per day, normal, which is 6, or fast, which is 8, and that's in the Underdark. And essentially, by traveling slow, you can get advantage on detection, picking up people that are trying to ambush you, and moving fast gives you disadvantage on that. Normal gives you nothing. You can't stealth necessarily, because you guys are a force of 30 plus people, 30 something like that, about 30 people. You do not need to provide food. You're not going to need to navigate in terms of finding food. You do have the map provided by. That was a very good role for you in terms of convincing him, though you didn't beat him in chess. The map's going to be very helpful, so you're not going to need to roll navigation checks. Not to mention you guys do have actual scouts. You can go ahead.
Oh, that I just sent a little message. The other stuff that I made a note of.
So a portion of the expeditionary forces can be broke off and essentially sent ahead as scouts. They can be led by a party member. You guys don't need to determine this, but you can, is kind of what I'm getting at, is you guys can get as involved or as little involved as you want. And you can send, maybe Agile Smoke ahead with a group of scouts, a small scouting group. And the issue there is if a random encounter occurs, the characters in the scouting party discover it first and can choose, if they detect it, how to deal with it. If they don't detect it, they can't be ambushed. And as you are traveling, there's going to be chances of, I will have all this written out, but essentially you're going to be able to decide how much you want to handle it. Some of the things you guys are going to need to decide is, how in depth do you want to use this? Do you want to know the names of all of your forces? I have them. So if you guys wanted them, I have them already. It's provided. They have names. And do you want it to be I don't need an answer now, fully fleshed out experience where you have to essentially act as commanders. What that would amount to is some of the random encounters you experience, maybe leadership, loyalty relating things. And if you don't want to deal with that, that would be just removed. The only time it would be brought up is if there are encounters of a battle type nature. So essentially, you need to let me know whether you want to deal with any leadership, diplomacy, expeditionary force issues, things of that nature. Again, don't need an answer now. Whether you want those encounters included. There, as a general rule, as I said, provisions aren't a thing. Treasure, as a general rule, you don't have to necessarily give them a cut of everything because they won't be with you in every aspect. If you guys, for example, find a dungeon like you did where you met Dronga, you would probably not take a 30+ person military force into there.
Right.
So if you wanted to give them some rewards, or you guys find a sword that you don't want, even if it's regular weaponry, you can give it to them. Let's see. The only there's a couple things we're going to go over in terms of options. So new option, new downtime activity that is included with having a military force, and it is establishing an outpost. It's essentially you will set up an outpost. It takes a default of 150 hours. I don't know exactly how many days that is. Let's see. It looks about 6 days with a little extra. And that would be just working. Now, of course, Roland has druidic magic. Agile Smoke has some magic. And Nyx has some magic. So adding in magic will reduce that time. And, of course, you guys helping. Essentially what it is it's a fortified encampment, and I'll have a symbol, a token to place on your map for that purpose. And each Underdark outpost is basically a cave roughly 20 feet with some gated, guarded entrances, walled compounds, things of that nature. You can do a small island with some boats, hard to reach ledges, but in essence they're just defendable areas. During that 6 days ish, you would be able to call in reinforcements. You're going to be provided some resources that I'll get to next game, but you'll essentially be able to call in reinforcements to establish this outpost and then move on with your expeditionary force. So if you need to retreat to this point, you can. If you need to rest rather than the reason why this matters is because it's typically 4 or 5 characters approaching Gracklestug looking to trade is a lot different than 40 surface militarily armed people approaching the gate. Those will be met with different types of reactions. So you're not going to be able to just roll up in cities with this military force. So why I said some groups will not even want to mess with it. They'll just park their entire expeditionary force in an outpost and just leave them, which you can do. But the other part of it is, if you want, if you want to get the full role-playing experience, I will give you essentially each of you a sidekick. It won't be super helpful in combat, but it's a character who is essentially directly under you, your lieutenant. A lot of people will. Dronga may be in charge of a small, group of military people, and she'll have a lieutenant, and Agile will be in charge of scouts. Indomitable roll in each with their own group with a sidekick for role playing and development. So you can, of course, try to seek out places you've helped in the past and request some troops, and I'll let you guys decide where, like if you wanted to march into Blingden Stone and say, hey, we helped you, can we have a couple people?
We helped with that genocide.
So,
Instrumental in the genocide. Give us some soldiers.
so that's essentially what your options are going to be. The synopsis of that is you can set up outposts and call in reinforcements, and then retreat to there. What I'm going to need from you guys is basically a decision on how involved you want the expeditionary force to be with you. Do you guys, and I don't need an answer now, but just if you guys want to split the expeditionary force up, I mean, you have scouts and knights and Mirabaran soldiers and spies and Zentarum. If you guys want to split it up so each of you are in charge of a group and I have actual names, if you guys would rather just kind of have them fade into the background and any benefits you have will be fine. And in the fade of the background, I can include, trying to think of a good word, internal issues. That's the good word. So do you guys give that a thought? Let me know what you want, and I can develop it accordingly. But next game will essentially start the second half of the camp and of the storyline.
The second half of the second half of the campaign.
There you go.
Yeah.
So think that over. I'm going to need to basically know, do you want to be involved, and to what degree?
Gotcha.
Sounds
You
good.
are going to be able to gain 2 new abilities for having this force. I'm going to essentially give them to you in a feature. It's going to be tactical loss. And it's essentially once per round when a player would be hit by an attack, you could essentially have an ally take a hit for you, but the person is wounded with a chance of being killed. And you have a finite number of times you can use that. Obviously.
We can use it 24 times.
And then there is some amount of healing that you can gain at the end of essentially it's a healing pool that you can use. So I will put those together for you, but think it over. It's up to you. It's literally it's your show. Some people like to act as commanders and go full into the role playing side of it. Some people are just no interest. It's your game, it's your show. I'm here for your enjoyment.
Mm.
So, and you can talk with Alex about it. We will pick up next game with you guys starting the feast. It was gonna go over tonight, but we had a little hiccup. So, other than that, it'll be the end of our early game tonight, and we will pick up next week.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. At one point, I will want to take a day to awaken a giant mushroom.
Okay.
Mushroom tree.
Oh,
You
she
can-
okay.
You can do that.
Badgers.
Oh yeah, my sword is not magical.
Okay. Essentially, you can sell it, especially since it hasn't been used. It'll net you over half the value of it. So if you actually click on it, let me take a look. I have it right here. 25 gold. You can
Cool.
delete it off your sheet and add 25 gold.
Do some quick math here. What's 2,400?
Hey gang, I gotta quickly step off, but I will see you next week.
Alrighty.
See you next week.
Next week.
See ya.
Mm-hmm.
That was double disconnect.
25. Oh, 4. Uh-oh.
And
I
you
didn't do
need an awakened mushroom. I assume that's the spell awakened.
Yep.
Does it have an NPC?
Doesn't come with one.
Do you
Says you have to
need-
make up stats.
I have those
But,
actually.
Yeah, I'll probably try to find like the biggest like mushroom tree I can find. So it says I can be a huge creature or smaller beast or plant.
Totally up to you. Makes no difference to me. I think I have a wide array of awakens, and I have a little bit of experience. I can write one up if I need to.
Oh, there goes the plan of putting an 18 in every stat.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have the time. We have the will. Awakened. Let's see what's already prepared. Looks like the best one that you're going to get is going to be pre-prepared this one, which is probably better than the one I would make anyways. It's a Zerkwood, those massive trees.
Yep.
Ooh.
No, that's exactly what I was looking for.
It it can smack some stuff. If you want to find an awakened, it'd probably end up honestly being a myconoid image.
Yeah.
If you want to send me one, I'll make it a token, and you can. I don't know the intelligence. It says 10 on here,
Yeah, 10. That's what it has to be.
so that's.
But
I
it
mean,
can
that's-
speak.
I mean, 10 is the average intelligence for a non-adventurer. So if you're dealing with a person in town who's a farmer or just living their normal everyday life, that's considered the average intelligence of 10. So,
Yep.
I mean, carrying on a conversation wouldn't be beyond the comparison. So you could easily wrap that up that way.
Yep. Yeah, no, you can communicate with it. We just have to be nice to it. Otherwise, it might, because it only lasts like 30, the charm effect only lasts like 30 days. And if we're mean to it, then it might leave us. But if we're nice to it, it might stay. That's up
Fair
to,
enough.
I guess, you to decide.
But we'll see how nice or not nice you are. But
Well, I'm very nice.
we'll see how that goes for you guys. And did anybody have anything else you wanted to sell? Just send me a picture, Tanner.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to pick one out.
No hurry.
Yeah, I'm down to basically brass tacks at this point. I would like to do some shopping for another decent item.
Okay. What
I have a
item?
little- I don't know. I had to do some looking into it. But I want something to help with my what was I looking? Hold on. I wanted to see if I could get my constitution up. So I'll have to look into some items that do that and their availability, basically, and the price.
Typically, stat increasing items are rare and expensive, but not always.
Okay,
But look into it, let me know, and I can make some rolls and tell you if you can find it.
cool beans.
Let's see, Ben, anything?
No, I don't have anything to really, add on there. I don't have anything to sell or buy. I'm pretty much good on that.
Sounds good.
Only thing I could think of would be that Spirit is already just kind of thinking tactics and what we could probably do with our newfound force. I mean, there's something that she would like to do, but she's not going to emphasize on it because she doesn't want to get anyone unnecessarily killed.
That's fair. They probably don't want to be unnecessarily killed.
Well, the thing that I'm thinking of is that, I mean, yeah, she does want to go and take care of that beholder as soon as possible, but part of it is only because of I'm sorry, train of thought just kind of all over the place here. Freeing her family and reuniting with them is only part of the reason. Potentially, if we liberate that site, we might be able to utilize that as a fortified base of our own. Basically, claim the beholder's territory as our own. But
Fair enough.
I say not so much freeing the slaves as putting them under new management. No, no, we will definitely be freeing the slaves.
I'll let you decide on that. But you can propose that to the group, and I will look into some magic items and get ready for that. So I will let you guys decide on how to approach that.
Sure. Oh, and then do we want to look into seeing like if we should send out our spies to like different locations?
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
to scout out like where these demon lords are actually holed up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like at this point, like this is Tyler thinking, but like we could probably take Zukmoy at this point with the help that we have, because we did some decent damage to her last time. But
We didn't even fight her last time.
no, weren't we
No,
doing damage? to her?
No, we ran away immediately.
You know what it is? So Dronga
You're
had
thinking the queen.
No. So Dronga had a curse on her from Zukmoy's madness or whatever.
Oh,
And it was basically like, you believe something is true even if there's like so much evidence proving you wrong. So my brain was like, oh, we totally like fought this thing and we only had to back out because defeat was imminent and we needed to regroup, right? So
yeah.
I convinced myself that that's what happened.
That's funny. Yeah, no, we didn't even try to fight her. We basically sensed her presence, said, "Yep, nope, that's too tough," and fucking got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we head that way and we do that first, and we send our spies off to go look at like Zublubzop.
Zubluzop.
Yeah, that one.
Zop, whatever the fuck it's
Yeah.
called.
Sluggled-up. Yeah.
There you go, Sublu blah.
Close enough.
Walla Walla, Washington.
And then like we have 3 spies, so we could theoretically send 1 to each, or we could send
Yeah, no, 1 to each, I think.
Yeah, 1 to each, and then just let them do their thing and tell them to meet us up somewhere specific.
Yep, we can probably try to make an outpost somewhere.
Yep.
To just give a home base somewhere, probably relatively in between the 3.
Yeah. And then we can move on to the next 3.
Yep. If we have to defeat them all.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad start to a plan.
Nope.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty.
Sounds like a plan. I hope you guys have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
You know?
Have a good night, guys. Good game.
Thanks.
Good game.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Tony, I saw that. I just put a picture in the chat there. That's relatively what I'm thinking anyway, so.
That'll work for me.
Yeah. Sweet.
Thanks, man.
Later, guys.
Later.
Later.
Bye.